Let's go to Alice Springs now and catch up again with the Mayor, Matt Paterson. Thanks for joining us, Matt. What a week you've had. You called for AFP or Defence Force personnel to help you out last week. The Prime Minister now says there's been no request for police. You certainly would welcome more police on the streets, wouldn't you, from the AFP?
Yeah, g'day, mate. Thanks for having me again. Yeah, look, absolutely. I think I spoke to the Prime Minister when he was in town on Tuesday and made the request that we certainly need more boots on the ground.
Hang on a second. Let me just jump in there, Matt. Sorry, because we've seen the Prime Minister say there was no request, but you're saying when you met with the Prime Minister in Alice Springs yesterday, you asked him for more boots on the ground, either police or Defence Force?
Yeah, absolutely I did, and it's a message that I've held the whole time. It started by asking the Attorney-General, and I've asked the Prime Minister and the Chief Minister that we need more resources in Alice Springs. It's not rocket science. We had a police operation in December last year. We had extra boots on the ground. There was a perception of safety. There was a visual presence of police. It worked. Crime went down. So I want to put it out there that, yes, the request is out there for more federal police or more resources in Alice Springs.
Now, in the meantime, do you think these additional restrictions on alcohol will help the situation or, as some argue in the Alice, make it worse?
Oh, look, we'll have to wait and see. I mean, we've asked for a circuit breaker and hopefully this is it. I mean, there's a reaction to every action that happens. You would have heard me, and I know you've been speaking about the stronger futures in the town camps that has lapsed. That hasn't been put back into place, which is disappointing, but there is a report being handed down next week. We'll wait for that report and hopefully the government decides to put stronger futures back in. Monday and Tuesday, dry for the town. I mean, on paper it seems fine, but as I said, what's the reaction? So we're taking alcohol away from people who do rely on it. We're already seeing break-ins at 2 and 3 in the morning. So are they going to now have to ram raid, break into people's houses, break into licensed premises to gain this alcohol? It's really, we're just got to have to wait and see. And look, the cynic in me says, no, it won't work, but I'm happy to come back on this program in 3 months and says, absolutely, it's worked, it's fixed all our problems.
Yeah, let's hope so, absolutely, and we'll give credit if that's the case. Now, the long-term solutions are much more complex, and I'm going to talk about those tomorrow night with Warren Mundine and Jacinta Nampijinpa-Price, but in a minute or so, can you explain to me what needs to happen? Because it would seem that the lack of self-reliance and the lack of personal responsibility is key here. You've got Indigenous communities, whether they're remote or on the fringes of the towns, where people are on welfare, and it's very hard to get people motivated for education or work when there aren't any jobs or the prospects of owning a house and getting themselves into a new self-reliant life like most of the country aspires to.
Yeah, look, and I think that you need to have the conversation around the lack of investment in remote communities for many, many years, for a long time. I mean, have a look at the housing levels. They're below substandard. They're really poor. You've got 15 people living in one house. There's no economy out in remote communities. There's no jobs. There's no infrastructure for kids to stay there. So you've got to ask yourself, why would they? And this is really part of the bigger picture.
Well, but why are those settlements there then? Do we need to confront the fact that maybe these settlements shouldn't be permanent settlements for everyone? If there's no jobs and facilities there for people, people need to go where jobs are, unless they can build up some sort of industry, some sort of tourism or mining industries near those settlements.
I mean, that's in a remote community, there's no jobs. There's plenty of jobs in Alice Springs because people are leaving in droves. So there's lots of jobs here that people can, from the town camps, we can certainly engage with. And that is part of the bigger picture and about talking to Indigenous people and bringing them along for the ride. They've got to be a part of the conversation, absolutely. But we can't continue to not invest in remote communities because otherwise we will have the 60,000 people in Alice Springs that we cater for when at the moment our infrastructure is not ready. We need to have the conversation immediately, the uncomfortable conversation about why it's safer for the kids to be on the street rather than at home. And we know that it's alcohol, domestic violence, substandard of living. So whilst people on the East Coast might not comprehend this and might think that it's an easy fix, you hear the word complex. It is very complex, but it's also complex for the women and children that are suffering domestic violence and child abuse.
Thanks for talking to us again, Matt. We'll keep in touch.
Good on you. Thank you.